Need to get off the bed.
I know.
You smell like. What's in here?
I'm doing a Star Wars figure showcase.
Oh, you want me to get your other one?
No. I'm going to do the vintage.
Can I help you?
What?
Can I help you out with the shower?
Yeah.
Anyone coming on?
Oh, I just got on.
You still have them?
Oh, they're good ones, bud.
Are those the originals?
Those are the originals.
And then you gotta say, for the last one, you're gonna be like, for the best for last, Boba Fett.
Haha.
You gotta do that one because that's your favorite.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm coming on, guys. I'm coming on tonight to do a live video of some of my Star Wars collection. I've been inspired recently by those back pages. Eric, he has his little Boba Fett's that he so proudly shows in his videos, and I've been like, oh, I got to do something different. I got to show my Star Wars, start showing some of my Star Wars stuff. Figure doing something different than cards, a little outside the box action. I am a recovering Star Wars collector. I do not actively collect Star Wars stuff anymore. Once in a blue moon, I might pick up a specific thing like a Boba Fett if I see it, but otherwise I got out of it. Just too much to do, too much to keep up with, too much money, no storage for it. I've actually sold off small pieces of my collection here and there, but I still have all my original figures when I was a kid. And I have a lot of modern figures, for the last, 20 years, 15, 20 years. So, hey, what's up, brother? How you doing, man? I think you called me earlier, didn't you? You called me earlier? I was having dinner when you called. I will call you. I will call you back. So, I'm just going to start getting cracking. Is everything okay, man? Everything good? So the first figure I'm going to show isn't really a figure. It's just the first thing I grabbed out of the box. So I have all my vintage figures in this box here. Oh, good, man. Good. So the first thing, what's up, brother? How you doing? What's going on? I'm showing a little Star Wars stuff. So I don't know. People may run away when they come on. But the first thing I'm going to show is, if you guys remember, technically not a figure, but it came with one of the original play sets, is this little bad boy right here. Does everybody know what that is? Remember that? Do you remember anybody? Jesse, John, do you know what that's from? That is the original garbage compactor monster from the original Death Star PlayStation playset from 1977. So that's a little thing that came in with the playset. So that I put that aside. I still have the playset, but I took the little thing out of there, and this is a little thing that popped up out of the garbage when Leia, Chewie, Han, and Luke are down in the compactor, and the little eye came up out of the thing. They never really showed the whole entire creature, but they kind of imagined, I guess, that it looked like this. So that's that. So let's get into, let's see. I'm just going to start pulling figures out. All right, so this is a very cool one. This is one of the bounty hunters from Empire Strikes Back. This is IG-88. And what's cool about IG-88 is if you some trivia, if you look at his head, the design of his head in the original Star Wars. Dude, I used to have G.I. Joe. Luke, Dad, can I help you with your Star Wars stuff? I'm like, yeah, go take a shower and you can help me. He's got them in his room and are all over the damn place, man. He's crazy with those. I told him that you said he should do a YouTube channel. I think he's too shy to do it. I don't know if he would do that, but he's got him in there. But this is IG-88, and I used to have the big GI Joes, the big, like, you would call doll size, and then in the early '80s when they came out with the action figure size, I had those like the first. I probably had like the first run or two of those. Those have long since gone. I never stayed with it, but You want to see them? Maybe I'll have Luke pull a few in, man, during this video. Maybe I'll have him pull some stuff over while I'm doing this. But the thing is, just interesting thing about this IG-88 was his head was used in part of the set for the old cantina in the original Star Wars. So, like, you know, when Obi-Wan and Luke go into the cantina and like they hire Han and Chewie in the bar. Behind the bar, there's these like, I don't know, distilleries, and one of the distilleries is like this piece of his head. You can see it like in stills, and then they repurposed it and used it for this character in Empire Strikes Back. So I thought that was kind of a cool little thing. That is a perfect sleeve, and Jonathan, you'll see a lot of my figures aren't in perfect fit sleeves. I'm going to eventually put them all in these. I like the fact that they're acid free. And these, this plastic the figures are made out of, because it's petroleum based, they can degrade a little bit over time. And I noticed that these protect them much better. So that's one of my goals, is to transfer all my figures into these. You know, to get them into hard cases is just too much space. I don't have space for all that. So there's like just the originals themselves, just the original figures from the 70s and 80s. There's just under 100 of them. So if I had each of those in a plastic container, it would just be impossible to storage. So there's IG-88.
Luke wanted me to tell you that the reason that you got motivated to do this is because he found one of your figures in Chicago.
Oh no, well yeah,
And he wanted to mention that.
Luke wants me to mention that. Hold on, where did I put him? I think I put
You
him.
put him in the thing, the ship thing, the walker.
Oh, all right. Luke found one of my original. I had a couple of doubles that I gave him when he was younger. My Chewbacca he had. So he gave it back to me earlier tonight, and he said
He doesn't want it to get ruined.
he doesn't want it to get ruined.
So you
But
what did he put it in? The walker?
I think he put it in my walker. Sorry, this is a figure from the Return of the Jedi. Now, it's been a while, but off the top of my head, I'm not sure if this is one of the final 17. Now, the final 17 figures are really tough figures. It's the last 17 they came out with in '84, and by that time, kids really weren't buying as much Star Wars stuff, so they weren't out very long, and they become very highly collectible. I'm still missing 5 of the last 17, because there was a total, I think, of 96 or 98 total figures in the first original wave of figures from the 70s and the 80s. But I believe this is one of Jabba the Hutt's droids on his barge. And it was cool because this is one of the first figures that really had any sort of articulation in it. If you like press the mouth opens, there's a little thing on the back here, and it kind of opens the mouth a little bit. This is like one of Jabba's, I think this is like 8D8 or something like that, or I don't remember the names. I used to know all the names, but this is definitely one of the tougher figures to come by. They work really well. The perfect sleeves work really well for these figures.
How many
And
people are watching it?
I've got 2 people on right now. I'll tell you, I'm probably not going to get a ton of people, which is fine. But for me to do this as a regular video, it would take so long that it's just better off me doing them live. All right. Okay. So here's another one. See, now here's one I'm just keep the old sandwich bag, which I got to actually get rid of. But this figure is an interesting one in of that. This is from Empire Strikes Back. This is one of the bounty hunters. Now, when Kenner made these figures back in the day, they made a mistake. They actually named this figure Zuckuss, but this is not Zuckuss. It's 4LOM. And they named 4LOM, the guy who was really Zuckuss, 4LOM, and it was wrong. They reversed the names on that guy. So in the character in the movie, this is 4LOM. And I always found the interesting thing of that was it meant that little acronym for the number 4 and then LOM meant for the love of money, because he was a bounty hunter. So I thought that was very cool. So that's that one. And he's got his big. Is it raining in Naples? It is not raining in Naples, John. Actually, it's been really sunny and hot as Hades here, man. It was like a friend of mine posted today on our Facebook page that like the heat index felt like 129. It was like crazy hot. It hasn't rained in a couple of days. Why is it raining over in Miami? I mean, with this heat, I can't imagine it not raining anytime soon. It's gonna storm probably crazily. And then everybody's favorite princess, Princess Leia. This is the Bespin Fatigues Princess Leia. This was this Empire Strikes Back figure. Now this one's it's been raining every Sunday. That sucks, man. I know when we were over there a couple weeks ago, you know, me and Elisa came. It rained every day we were there, and you know, we saw you. And then actually, that was probably the only day it didn't really rain. We went to the game, and it was cloudy, but it didn't rain. And then we got kind of rained out the rest of the time we were there, and we didn't really get to do much like outside stuff. Kind of was a bummer, but it was cool. It was fun anyway. This is one of my figures that needs a little bit of an upgrade. Like I said, it's not that important to me, but she's got a little tear in her vinyl cape here, a little bit of paint worn off the hands. Like I said, most of these are my originals from when I was a kid, so that's that. Not a super tough figure, but that is the Princess Leia in the Bespin gown. Jesse, I used to have carded modern figures. I do not own any carded vintage figures. I just never had the money to get those, and the space was just too much to be able to storage that stuff. I sold off all of my carded things. Oh, geez, maybe 5 years. When I moved down to Florida, I sold a bunch of stuff because it needed the money and it needed the space. I didn't have enough. We had to rent a storage unit, and I just didn't have enough space in the storage unit to keep everything. So I let go of some of my Star Wars stuff, and I decided to let go of some of the modern stuff. Everything I had carded, I do have loose, so I still have those characters loose. But I had to give up on the carded stuff. I love the way they look. I love the way they display, but I just couldn't keep them all. So sometimes you got to cut our losses. And Luke, Jonathan wants to know how your wrestling figures are.
Oh, you can do a video with them. I'll let you.
Oh, no. You're going to do the video. You see that, Jonathan? You see what he said? He goes, oh, I'll let you do a video with him.
No, Jonathan
I said,
you do a video.
no, you're going to do the video.
He said you should get your own YouTube
Because he wants to see some of your wrestlers.
That's a lot. I have to live stream. Tell him I have to live stream because that's how many I have.
Yeah, that's why I'm live streaming.
I would have to because I have that much.
I
try to, and I have way too much.
This is one of the final 17. This is the Anakin Skywalker figure. That was, the ghost, the original ghost at the end of Return of the Jedi before they switched it and made it Hayden Christensen. But this was the original ghostly Jedi ghost, Force ghost of Anakin. Again, like I said, this is one of the final 17 figures, so it's definitely in one of them. It's a little more tougher to get, or not that it's hard to get, but a little more expensive in terms of getting these figures. He didn't come with any sort of weapon; it was just straight up. He's doing right. He's doing a video, right, Jonathan? You're talking about Luke, right? Because he can't see what you're typing. I think you mean Luke is doing the video. What? I took the wrestling figures video. He told me at the game. He goes, "You should have your own station."
I tried it.
Yeah, man. It's Jesse. I think we all have that in our in our blood. We collect cards, but I think that collecting thing is just in us. It was born in us. So I mean, I had the comic books, the Star Wars, the Matchbox cards, the baseball cards. I had all that stuff. It is a little sticky because it's old, and these are petroleum based, so they get a little sticky over time. But it's okay. So, like I said, I retired from Star Wars. I sold my entire comic collection, took a bath on it, but again, I had space issues. I couldn't keep it all. I had like 10 long boxes full of comics. And Luke Mania over here. He said Luke Mania. That's what you should call your Luke Mania is your channel name. He's smiling. So now we got the Emperor's Royal Guard. I always thought this is one of the coolest figures. This is from.
Does that helmet come off?
No, the helmets didn't come off. There's only like 1 or 2 figures that helmets came off of in these days. They were not very highly articulate.
Well, they never showed that.
They showed them for like 5 minutes in Return of the Jedi. So that's the Emperor's
What, the
Royal
helmets
Guard.
off of them?
Well, the new ones, the modern ones, the helmets come off of some of them. Like the modern ones from like the recent times when they make re-releases
Those
in
you
the
can show
modern.
them too. You have all those too, Dad.
I do. Well, that's a whole nother video. So that's the cool Emperor's Royal Guard and his crazy staff right there. So yes, all my figures are, I would say, mint and complete.
So we don't collect the new Star
Except,
Wars
that Leia's not mint, but she's complete. She's got her blaster. But what else we got here? Oh, this is kind of one of my faves. I always like these guys. This is one of the original
I got his hand on.
Which one?
Cantina creatures.
Oh, yeah.
Walrus Man. Walrus Man. Awesome. Isn't that cool? Hey, guys.
Are those like? Were they made better back then? Then?
I don't know if they were made better, but they were more simple. There's no articulation, as you
Well,
can
no,
see.
like,
That's
were they-
about it.
Like, were they easy or to be broken or no?
Yeah, you got to be careful with them. You got to be careful with them.
Like
That's the
new
old
one-
Walrus
The
Man.
new ones, the hands break off.
Yeah. I mean, they're not meant to be played with hard. Okay, this is cool. This is one of Jabba the Hutt's henchmen, what you would call a skiff guard, or one of the skiff henchmen. This is Nikto. He was big in the Battle of the Sarlacc Pit. Just know, I have not gotten into Star Wars pops. I don't own any pops. Like I said, I pretty much limit myself to baseball stuff, cards, and I might foray a little bit into bobbleheads. That bobblehead museum really inspired me at the Marlins game. So I might buy a few bobbleheads here and there. But the only pop I might buy if I ever saw it, or if I came across it, would be maybe a Boba Fett pop.
The last action figure you bought was that.
Yeah, actually, let me grab that. So the last action figure, I bought. I did buy an action figure in the last few months. It's this one right here. Oh, there he is. He's my he guards my cards. He guards my card table.
It's
So I got
cool.
this. This is really cool. This is one of the black version, Boba Fett. That is just
Did you like when
completely.
they made
If
him
I had this
brown?
as a kid, I would never have come out of my room. I would have been playing with this 24/7. I mean, that is just
And
completely,
then there's the blaster on the side
completely
too.
badass. He's got a little blaster on the side. I know. I saw that, dude.
I saw it and I was like, huh.
That bobblehead museum is just fantastic. Fantastic. I saw those and I was like, man, those are so cool. This all together like that. They look amazing.
Wow.
I do have I have a fairly, I don't want to say it's amazing, but I have a pretty nice Boba Fett collection too.
All those.
They're packed away in a box. I'll have to
Do you
do
have the white one? His all white uniform.
I think I might, but yeah, this is definitely badass. There is no doubt about that. That is just unbelievably amazing and detailed. I mean, that is just
Do you know what they're selling
almost
at?
perfect.
Dad, do you know what they're selling at Target again?
What?
They're doing the Boba Fett, his Lego ship.
Oh, the slave
Yeah.
one.
Well, they're doing that one because it's like 60 years or something of Star Wars or something.
Not 60 years.
It was like
40
40.
years.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
And then we have the B-Wing pilot. This is from Return of the Jedi. It's not one of the final 17.
What do you mean by Final 7?
The last 17 figures they released were very difficult now to
Do you have them?
I have some of them, not all of them. I'm missing 5 of the last
rare?
7. I have 12 of the last 17.
They're rare?
They're just expensive, yeah. So this is the B-Wing pilot. This is a Return of the Jedi character. His counterpart is the A-Wing pilot. Now, the A-Wing pilot is basically this guy, but in a green suit. He's one of the final 17. Definitely costlier in terms of trying to procure. Eventually, someday, I probably will complete the run of these. I will get those last 5, but they're pretty big dollar figures. You're talking the Yak face,
Like
which
1,000 or
no, not 1,000, but for me to get those last 5, minimally, you're talking about $500 for those last 5. Minimal.
At
They're
all?
about
Or like-
$100 a piece. Yeah. Fluby, what was it? Fine. I probably stick to the SGY. Some Wrigley. What's up, Fluby? How you doing, man? Jonathan, what bobblehead you going to be looking for? What are you going to get? I got to get me a Don Mattingly bobblehead. That's when I need to get one, and a Ricky Henderson. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you coming on and hanging for a bit. As you can see, I'm doing a Star Wars showcase.
a little break in baseball
A
cards.
little break, something different. I was inspired by those back pages. If you watch him, and if you don't, you should definitely watch Eric's channel. He has a couple of Boba Fett's out on his desk, and ever since I've seen him doing that, I was like, I got to do a Star Wars video. So here I am doing my Star Wars video. So next, Ivan or Puig, cool. Jesse, what book? What is the book about the baubles? You talk about a book? Flippy, I've actually retired from Star Wars collecting. I don't actively collect anymore. Very few things. Oh yeah, yes, there is. Absolutely, there is. There is a complete book on everything that's available.
Aren't they expensive too now?
And it's expensive and takes a lot of space. But I've retired from Star Wars collecting. I kept most of my collection. I've sold some stuff off, but it was one of my passions growing up as a kid. Now this one here too is one of my favorites, and I believe this may be one of the final 17. This is the Lando Calrissian in the general outfit. So that is a very cool figure. I always liked that one.
Do you have any of the last ones that were released?
I told you I have 12 of the 17. I'm missing 5. And there's that. So that's a cool one. Let's see what else we got here. All right, this is one of those characters from Star Wars that was on screen for like a split second, and they made a figure of it because that was, popular or not popular. It was no, this ain't the butt chin guy. This is Prune Face. And well, no, back in the 70s and the 80s, they named figures based on what they looked like. So this is Prune Face. And he's a rebel. Was part of the rebellion, and he was in the a little backstory. I believe he was at the Battle of Endor. He was on the ship when they were planning the Endor siege or whatever, and he was shown, like I said, for like a split second. But they named him, what they look like, Yaka Prune, But he has a name. I don't really remember his name because they did re-release this figure as a modern figure, and they did not call him Prune Face. They called him. Do you have any WWE bobbleheads?
No.
He has no.
Only like the elites and like basics.
Yeah, no, he only has elites and basics, John. No bobbles. No bobbles.
I don't really do that stuff. I don't know.
And he doesn't really display his. He doesn't display his out. He uses them and creates matches and does all that stuff with them. So I do have 2 at my desk at work.
I got rid of my.
Yes.
I got rid of my.
Yes, Jesse. That's the one I looked at. I looked that up online after the game because I saw it at the museum at Mullins Park, and I looked up Ricky Henderson bobblehead, and that is pretty expensive. I was very shocked. And it looks like that might be from what I saw on eBay, I didn't see any others except that one. So I don't know, but he definitely is one of them I'd like to get.
Does it look cooler?
Yeah, it's amazing.
I'll change the.
And so I mean, I definitely want to get a Donnie, and I definitely want to get a Ricky. Oh, John, you know what? There's this Steve-O. What's up, brother? How you doing, my man? The day after we saw you, we went to this card shop. It's in Dania. It's probably a half hour from you. Kind of a rickety old store. The guy does a lot more business online than he does walk-in. It's kind of a mess. But he had some stuff in there. I know he had some Jose Fernandez stuff in there too. And I saw it. I was like, I got to tell Jonathan. So I'm glad it just struck me in the head that it's a store in Dania. Is it Dania, Florida? Dania. Dania.
What is the store called?
I forget something collection. It's the only one in Dania. I mean, it's the only one there. So
look up baseball cards near me.
And I bought a few things from the guy. He has a lot of just kind of like the overproduction era stuff, which is still awesome. But he had some Jose Fernandez bobbleheads or something there. So this is one of my least favorite figures. I just kind of think he's kind of lame. It's the Rancor Keeper guy from Jabba's castle there. He was the guy that lived down in the pits with the Rancor monster. And he cried. He was crying when Luke killed the Rancor. I don't know. Just was not one of my faves. But I guess if I shaved my beard, I'd kind of look like him.
Kind of looks like the Kingpin.
Yes.
King Kong Bundy or like
the Rancor Keeper. Again, the modern version of this, the guy has a name, but they call him the Rancor Keeper in the in the vintage. That's what they called it. And that's what I know it by. Yeah. Let's see what else is here. Oh, this is one of the coolest ones. When I was a kid, I remember always wanting to get this one. And my friend at school had it, and I didn't have it yet. And I thought it was like the best thing since sliced bread. This is the AT-AT driver. And I always thought it was cool because he came with a gun with a little the belt there. I don't know what the strap. Yeah, so you could like go like that. And I thought that was like, oh, that's just too cool because they hadn't done that before, So you could put his gun up on his back like that. He can wear his gun and So that was definitely one of my faves as a kid, the AT-AT driver. And
it's one of these guys.
he was definitely one of the ones that I was like longing after for a long time. And then I finally got it. It was like, yay.
Man, they molded this.
And it was what was a good background story. Yes. Malakili. Yes, sir. See, Steve, it's so funny because I have all the modern figures up until, 10 years ago. I really kind of stopped collecting stuff from Star Wars. And I have all like the newer ones where they actually gave them their names, and I just don't remember. For me, it was always the Rancor Keeper because that was when I was a kid. That's what they called it. And they called it like the Death Squad Commander, and then they changed it to Star Destroyer Commander because Death Squad Commander sounded too evil, I guess.
The only name is that the people that
they knew. Hammerhead. I know his name is like Mima Ya or something like that, but I remember by Hammerhead and Walrus Man and Rancor Keeper and Skiff Guard. That's that's how I remember it.
For like the normal people like Lando and Leia, they actually said
Lando and Leia. Yeah. Let's see here. I remember this one. This is the one. This was the C-3PO that you could actually take apart and put in this little satchel that Chewbacca could wear, and he could carry around the broken down C-3PO. Now I don't pull him apart because I don't want to loosen his joints up, but he is really nice in gold and really in nice shape.
How do you put him in here?
Yeah, he hit a big Max Rebo. I have Max Rebo and the band, Size Noodles and the Max Rebo band.
They should make this into a new figure.
They had one.
Oh, they have?
Oh, yeah. They did everything. Everything they had old, they did new. Yeah, he hit a big grand slam against the Yankees today. Looks like a really solid player.
You need to add that for Battlefront too.
What else do we have? Well, we have a lot. Well, how can we not forget this guy?
He looks kind of like
the smallest Star Wars figure. Now, Yoda was interesting because there were a lot of variations of Yoda. Yoda came with an orange snake. Yoda came with a brown snake. The color of Yoda changed. Like this one's a very kind of like I would say more of a vibrant green. There was one where he was kind of more of an olivey drab green, and then his staff was more of a light brown. So there's a lot of variations on this figure.
No?
There's no, he didn't have a lightsaber in Empire Strikes Back. Always thought this was a very cool figure.
Oh yeah, they didn't have.
Dude, the Dodgers they're unstoppable this year. I think they're going to win it this year. I mean, they're absolutely unstoppable.
You think the Yankees can win?
Yoda!
Do you think
I want the Yankees to win, but I don't know who's going to stop the Dodgers. They're just a buzzsaw. They're just unbelievable.
What was the point of the snake with that?
Moser trimmed his ear, I think. Yeah, these are untrimmed. These are. There's a whole thing going on with trimming baseball cards. Unsoaked. This is not conserved. This is how it's been for the last 30 years, just like that.
Can I see it?
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they've gotta win one here, and they just seem like their destiny is to it's win it or die or something, man. They're just they're scary. They really are scary. Now let me see if I can remember this one. I believe now the Ewoks they did name, and I believe this one is Logray, the Ewok medicine man.
Dad, do you know when the Return of the Jedi they were supposed to be Wookiees, but then they made it more kid friendly?
Yeah. Yeah, me too, John. I was rooting for the Dodgers against the Astros. Definitely. And the Dodgers definitely against the Red Sox last year. Ugh. I was like, please.
Sadly,
So yeah, this is Logray, the Ewok medicine man, and Logray's a Yankees fan. He likes the Yankees.
he doesn't like the Red Sox.
But it's interesting. I can even feel, as I touch these figures. It's been a long time since I've actually had these out of the bags, and this one's a little sticky. I mean, he's not degrading or anything, but he is a little sticky. And again, that's that whole, will this be around in another 100 years? I don't know.
Will they disintegrate?
Well, I mean, it's petroleum based, so I don't know what's going to happen to it. It's made, I think, from fossil fuels. It's like oil based. It's an oil based plastic. Plastic's oil based, so I don't know. But it is a little sticky, a little tacky.
That comes off, right?
Yeah, he's in great shape, but it's just interesting. I know, Jonathan. I know. All right, here is. Let me go back before. Now, remember before I was telling you about.
Oh my God, they look so creepy without their stuff.
4LOM and Zuckuss. So let me go back to him. So Kenner named him Zuckuss. Kenner named him 4LOM. But this really is Zuckuss, and that really is 4LOM. So that was kind of an uncorrected error like an uncorrected error card for Star Wars. So this is what Kenner called 4LOM. And again, he was you gotta love the bounty hunters, man. The bounty hunters had the coolest guns, they had the coolest look, and that one's pretty badass. Pew 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 pew.
Captain Rex was in Return of the Jedi.
Captain Rex was one of the.
He was the old guy with the gray beard in the movie.
Yep.
Wish they told him.
Yep. Yeah, that's all retconned. That's all stuff they, after the fact, they said that's who it is. So they can tie stuff together. All right, classic figure coming up. Really classic.
I don't know who that is.
I'm like, what? Now, this one was interesting because this was another there's actually a lot of variations in Star Wars figures. A lot of them. Now, this one came with, this is a Luke in the Bespin fatigues.
That was probably one of the coolest suits.
And it was cool because this one came with two weapons. It came with a blaster and a lightsaber.
It looks like a Lego sword.
It's so primitive, though. Look at that. It's like, man, no articulation, but it's just so damn cool. But this one came with or am I thinking of the Jedi? Actually, it might be the Jedi Luke and the Jedi robes, where it came with two different color lightsabers. I think there's the green, and then there's the more rare blue lightsaber.
And you don't have that one?
I have the green lightsaber one. That's one of the final 17. I don't know if there was a.
Oh, it was
this
a
one
case
may
one.
have had. This one may have had a hair, one with hair color variation with a lighter hair color. I know the original Luke did. There was one with like a darker hair, and there was one with like a blonder hair. But there may be a hair color variation on this figure.
Doesn't it look like the new Lego swords?
Hey, what's up, man? How are you? Thanks for popping on. As you can see, I'm not really talking card. I mean, a little bit of card talk tonight. Very little. It's more bobblehead and toy. We're talking more about bobbleheads and toys and stuff. But I'm doing a little bit of a Star Wars showcase.
So why not?
And why not?
Who's that?
This is one of the Rebel soldiers.
Random guy.
This was the name of this figure is, I don't know if it was Rebel Assault Trooper or Endor Rebel Trooper or something like that. Kind of just a generic guy.
Kind of just looks like a G.I. Joe.
Yeah, kind of looks like a G.I. Joe in a way. Ah, yes, please. Have a beer, have a drink, sit back and learn. This is a Return of the Jedi figure. Not rare by any stretch of the imagination, but kind of a cool one. You know, I always like the troop building guys. You could get a bunch of these and make a little army. That was the thing you try. Who had the most stormtroopers, man? You can line them up and display them like they were in the lineups during like Star Wars and.
That'd be a lot of. That'd be a lot.
Oh well, I mean, here we go. I mean, he's on top. I got to show him, and we've seen this guy before. This guy, if you watch those back pages, this guy sits front and center next to the old Harold Baines, my favorite Star Wars character of all time, right here. So that's the figure released in 1978. The big thing about this figure is it was available as a mail-away figure when it first came out, meaning you could cut off the proofs of purchases from the figures you bought and send them into Kenner, and with like $1, they would send you this in the mail.
Is that what you did?
I don't remember what I did. I really don't remember. I think I may have bought this in the store. But the cool or whatever. If you notice the backpack here, no, this is not the firing version.
It looks like
There was the original one was a firing version backpack where you could press a little button and the spring would shoot off a little rocket. That is extremely rare, very expensive. Only a few made it out because they quickly pulled those back because back in the day, Battlestar Galactica also had toys, and they had the Cylon Raider ships and I forget what the good guys ships were called, the Vipers, I think, and they shot little missiles, and the kid choked and died swallowing one of the missiles, and then that's why Kenner pulled out the
Who's Kenner?
Kenner was the toy company that made Star Wars.
Oh.
Kenner pulled this back and made it so it didn't fire. A big, huge Star Wars collector, famous guy, and there's a lot of them. I know Leonardo DiCaprio is a big Star Wars collector, but one you probably may not know, Rick Springfield, of Jesse's Girl fame. He's a huge Star Wars collector, and I believe he might have a carded firing backpack Boba Fett, which is just, ridiculous amounts of money. So that is my favorite.
How would you feel if you just found that in like a flea market?
Let's do a side-by-side comparison of old versus new. Old, circa 1978. Modern.
The setup looks cool, doesn't it?
I mean, a little size difference, but just the detail is just amazing on how they changed over the last 30 years. If I had a figure like that when I was, 10 and 9, 10, 11, I would have been, just dying. So
it's like a bottomless pit of just toys.
That is pretty cool though. I like the evolution. It's all part of it. This one here, uncarded. Again, I haven't looked up prices in a really long time on loose figures. I'm guessing somewhere between $15 to $20. That's what I'm thinking. Now, carded, even this one that doesn't fire, carded, you're talking a lot more. You're probably talking, in the hundreds of dollars based on condition, of course, like cards. But yeah, I think an average price for loose Star Wars figures that are mint and complete, and I'm not talking loose ones you'd find in a flea market all crapped up, but if you got loose complete mint Star Wars figures, on average, anywhere from $10 all the way up to like I was saying before, if you had heard me, there's the Final 17 Kenner put out in 1984. Those are upwards. Some of them are upwards of $100 for loose ones, not even graded. Because yes, there are graders for Star Wars figures. There are graded Star Wars figures available loose, graded Star Wars figures available on card, and they are big money. Big money.
Graded.
Yeah. I don't know if PSA. It's not PSA that grades them, John. It's another company that does more as a toy specific company. I don't know how you could trim these guys. I mean, I guess there's a will, there's a way. I'm sure.
Probably like the extra little plastic.
Who knows? But there is a grading service for
Do you have any
toys.
rare ones, Dad? Or?
I have a couple of ones. Yeah. Yep.
Wait, so Dad, were they hard to find back in the last 5?
The last 17.
Yeah.
As time went on,
People stopped collecting.
they stopped collecting, so they didn't make as many, and so they're more highly sought after. Bib Fortuna, the guy with the snake head, the guy with the snakes coming off his head, he was always a cool one too. Anything from Jabba the Hutt is cool. So he was Jabba's like spokesperson. Yeah, no, they do great toys. Absolutely, dude. They have great. I could send these in and get them graded. Who at the company, whoever grades, toys, but nah, not gonna do it. Not gonna do it.
Case when you were doing
I did not find your retainer case.
Mhm.
Nope.
All right.
You need to mind that stuff.
Oh, wait. Let me think.
One of the original bounty hunters. And yes, hand shot first. Remember, hand shot first. Greedo. Remember in E.T. when Elliot was playing with these guys? There we go. Greedo. One of the bar figures. The bar guys. There was Greedo, Hammerhead, Walrus Man, and Snaggletooth. And Snaggletooth had 2 variations. The red one, which came carded, and then the taller blue one, which came in the Sears Cantina playset. Very sought after figure. Very sought after figure. Now you can toss it.
Dad, E.T. was in Revenge of the Sith.
Yes, he was. All right. Here's another cool one. You know what? They come in a sealed case, John. There's like a clear plastic case. They're probably about that big. And then, yes, they would come, the graded carded figures would come sort of in a sealed, like, clamshell type thing. Yes. Yep. Again, one of my favorites when this came out. This was very cool because it was the Lando Calrissian in skiff guard disguise. Remember, he infiltrated Jabba's castle and helped break Han out of the carbonite in the amazing battle over the Sarlacc pit. So this one was always, again, anything that had to do with Boba Fett and Jabba the Hutt's henchmen. I was all about those guys. So that was cool.
Solo? Did they make that?
The Witch? Yeah.
The thing that he was stuck in.
I have the new version. I don't. He's one of the Final 17, which I don't have. He's an expensive one. My son asked me if I had the Frozen Han Solo. I have the new version that came out with the modern groups. I do not have the original. I know. I should have gotten it when I saw it years ago. I should have gotten it.
How much was it back then?
Like $85. And that was like in Illinois, like 25 years ago.
You're like, nah, it's heavy.
Dumbass.
Not. I'm gonna find it again.
Dumbass. As Red Foreman would say, dumbass. Here is the AT-AT. Now, this is not the AT-AT driver. The AT-AT driver I showed you earlier. This is the AT-AT Commander. I think this may be, again, if you watch the movies, I think it was General Veers. He's the guy that Darth Vader said to, go down to Endor and prepare for the ground attack. That's who this character is. Helmet doesn't come off, but they just called him AT-AT Commander. That's what they called him. That's General Veers, I believe. I believe that's what was his name, Veers. General Veers. Another cool bounty hunter, Bosk. The lizard guy here. He's a cool one. He was on the lineup of the bounty hunters in Empire Strikes Back when Darth Vader hires them to search out Han Solo.
His name Bosk.
Bosk. It was Bosk and Boba Fett and IG-88 and Dengar and Zuckuss and 4-LOM. They look really cool.
What do they call him? Lizard Man?
He's a Bosk.
Is that what they called him in the?
Yeah, that's what they. Yeah, Bosk. 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 Ugnaught. He's one of Lando Calrissian or Bespin guys. Ugnaught, the little pig people. They worked in the little, I would say, the droid factory on Bespin. They took apart the droids, and they were like the scrap. These are like the junkyard guys. They did all the scrap metal and stuff like that. So that's that. And then we have the Luke Skywalker, again, one of my faves. Luke Skywalker X-Wing pilot figure. And this was one of the original 24. So they did 12. They did back when they first released Star Wars figures in 78, 77, 78. They did 12, and then they did another 12, and he was in the second wave of 12 when they came out. So he was part of that wave. And then, of course, you gotta love the Emperor. Again, I don't recall back when he was first seen in Empire Strikes Back, and then fully seen in. He was just a hologram in Empire Strikes Back for a second, and then in Return of the Jedi, the actor was on set and was live action. The Emperor was just called the Emperor. I don't recall the name. I don't recall them saying his name, Emperor Palpatine. It was just the Emperor. Very mysterious guy. So that's the Emperor right there. Pretty cool. Yes. Execute Order 66. And then we have, let's see here. Here is another one of Jabba's henchmen. Weequay, one of the skiff guards. Again, big part of the battle over the Sarlacc pit. Or the pit of Carkoon. He's cool looking. Very cool looking. So that's that one. And then we got, let's see who else we got. The Bespin Security Forces. There's two versions. There is a white version and there is a black version. Guy with the mustache there. I have both versions. And the original Lando Calrissian figure. He was in the first wave of the Empire Strikes Back figures, along with the Bespin Luke and the Bespin Leia and the Bespin Han and all that stuff. That's the original Lando. What's the most important thing?
Yeah. What did you name your son?
Oh, Luke.
Mom, can you?
He's named
Not
Luke.
after the
Why?
Bible.
Yeah, not after the Bible. That's for sure.
Not the Cool Man Luke either.
Nope.
Who's Cool Man Luke?
Again, another really cool, very cool figure back in the day. I thought this was awesome. This is the TIE fighter pilot figure. Very similar looking to the AT-AT driver, except this guy's in black and gray. That is pretty badass right there. That is the TIE Fighter pilot.
Oh, keep going. And you look like that.
Yes, yes, yes. Very cool. I hope I'm not putting people to sleep here, but I'm going to go through this box. I'm going to go through this whole box.
I don't look like a Jordan.
And then there's Dengar. I got to remove the Dengar, the one of the other bounty hunters. I always thought he was cool. He had the wrapped head. He always fell over though. He was like, when you try to set him up, he was very back heavy, so he'd fall over because of that big bulbous thing on his back there. I guess I don't know if that's some sort of life preserver there or something, or I think it is. It's some sort of like respirator or something. But he's all bandaged up and messed
that
up.
guy?
That's Dengar. Dengar.
The top isn't good anymore, right?
Man, I've been here almost an hour. That's insane. That is freaking crazy. And then we've got this guy, another Jabba. This is one of the Jabba's, like in his little court. Rees. Reeyees. Rees. Again, these are the best because look, they were aliens and they were cool looking, and kind of
music guy?
three-eyed, whatever. Very cool looking. Cool looking character.
What do they call this guy? Butt chin guy on the.
Butt cheek guy.
What do they call him when he?
Bib Fortuna.
Bib Fortuna.
That's his name. Yeah.
He looks like butt chin.
Did
In
that
the movie,
butt chin?
remember he had like that big,
Yeah, I think so.
like the big thing.
And this is the Luke Skywalker in the Endor, his Endor garb.
Oh, there you go. I close this one.
I know. That's the thing. Actually, they do make turntables and
What?
to play records. They do. They do.
You saw them in what is it?
Yeah, they have them. Like I saw them. Like you can get like cheap ones at like Kohl's and stuff for like $50 or $60. This is a nice one. This is a Han Solo in his Endor garb. Star Wars went from vinyl capes in The Empire Strikes Back to cloth capes by the time Return of the Jedi came out. So it was nice that they had figures in cloth. They didn't rip as much, and so I thought that was always a cool looking one. That's the Endor Han, and then we have while I'm on Han Solo, this is the Hoth Han. Han always had to be different. He had the blue coat, the big fur hood. So that was cool. That's Endor Han. And then we got, what else we got here? And this is, I'm sorry, Hoth Han. I said Endor. That's Hoth Han. And then we have Endor Leia. One of the first vintage Star Wars figures you could actually put the gun in the holster.
Wait, what?
Right in the front there, you could put the gun in the
that's cool.
holster. That was kind of cool. They didn't have that before. That was
That'd
the
be
first
cool with
time.
Han.
Yep.
Is there any rare Hans or?
The Carbonite Han Solo is pretty rare. Or it's not rare, it's just expensive.
Look at the painting on this one. He's like yellow.
Yep. This is the Bespin Han. So I always pissed me off because they gave him the wrong blaster. They gave him like the Bespin blaster. He never used that blaster ever. He always had his classic Han Solo blaster, but Kenner decided to give him that, which was very wrong. Drove me crazy. But that looks a lot like Harrison Ford. That's pretty good likeness for 35-year-old technology back then. That was a pretty good likeness. Let's see what else we got here. This is the original. This is the Rebel Commander Hoth figure. Now this guy, if you watch, his name is Bren Derlin, the character's name. And if you go back and watch Empire Strikes Back, the actor who played this guy was none other than John Ratzenberger from Cheers fame. He played Major Derlin, and this figure is based on that. So there's a figure a Star Wars figure of Cliff Clavin, right there.
You're not even halfway done.
I know, it's crazy, right?
It looks like you don't have that much, but you do.
Yeah, I was gonna get one of those turntables. I have a big, pretty decent stack of vinyl, and I think vinyl just sounds amazing. If you were to guess how many different figures at the same scale you are showing are there at the same scale, if you were to guess how many figures at the same scale you are showing are there. Fluby, just kind of clarify that. I'm not sure I understand what you're asking, man. This is the R2D2 with the sensor scope. The little thing pops up here. So this is Empire Strikes Back era, because that's when he went to Endor with Luke, and when he fell into the swamp, and Luke thought he was gone. His little sensor scope popped up out of the swamp, and he was able to get around. He was swallowed by the monster, and then the monster coughed him up and spit him out.
Well, you know that R2D2 can't die.
R2D2 can't die. R2D2 saved the entire Star Wars galaxy. If it wasn't for R2D2, the Rebels never would have won anything. So he always bailed their ass out.
You know, I heard he was like in Star Trek or something. One of the Star Treks, the new ones or something.
Yeah, he was like floating in space or something like
This
that.
one's cool.
Oh, yeah.
This one's like the coolest.
Oh, okay. So good. Okay, so Kenner originally released 96 figures. Okay.
Holy shit.
I'm missing 5 of the 96 original ones that you would say from the 1970s to the 1980s. There's 5 I'm missing from there, and there are 5 of the final 17. There are some variations in there, which I don't count as part of that 96, because they weren't released to everybody. Some are part of like the play sets, like before I had mentioned Snaggletooth. The blue version of Snaggletooth was only available in a play set through Sears, so I don't really count him as part of that 96. But the 96 original, from first to last, I have all but 5, so I have 91 of them.
Man, these are some cool.
Now the modern stuff, when they came out with the new stuff after Phantom Menace, there's thousands. I mean, they came out with tons.
Oh, that's what I don't have. Okay.
I purchased a lot of those, but I had to stop about 10 years ago because we were moving and just too much. So yeah, there's a lot. Yep. That is the Hoth Leia. This is no problem, man. I love talking about this stuff. This is Lobot. He was like Lando Calrissian's left-hand man there, or whatever, right-hand man. He was able to patch himself into the Bespin security computers, or just patch himself into the whole system there and communicate with people through his little thing here. And I was told the lore of his name, Lobot, was the fact that he had a lobotomy.
What's a lobotomy?
They took part of his brain out, and that's why he has that thing on his head and he doesn't speak. So I don't know.
Is that how tall this goes out?
Just take care, man. You're not Jesse. I'm sorry. Thank you for coming in, man. I really appreciate it. And you have a great week. Let's see. Admiral Akbar, take evasive action. Take evasive action.
Who did the voice of him?
I don't know, but he was kind of cool. He's part of the Mon Calamari race of lizard people, or I don't know, fish people.
He was funny.
Yeah, he was always there. Take evasive action when they were doing the battle over Endor.
That's like Mr. McMahon.
Yeah, it's kind of like Mr. McMahon. This is one of the Ewok warriors. Now, again, my memory. I'm not sure if this is Lumot. There's Lumot. There's a couple other ones I don't remember the names of. But I think this might be one of the final 17 that's kind of difficult to get. There are a couple Ewoks in those final 17 figures. So that's one of them, I believe. Then we got here. Oh, this was kind of cool. This is even a figure, but this is a little thing Kenner came up with during the Empire Strikes Back era. And I have size. She's coming up, man. I have size Noodle. She's in here somewhere.
Who's that?
The musician from Jabba's Castle. She's coming up, dude. Hold on. So Kenner put together this little thing called a survival kit. And you can mail in, again, it was a mail away. You can mail in some, whatchamacallits from your figures, the proof of purchases. And you would get this little survival pack. And it came with like 5 blasters. It came with these 2 backpacks you could put on the figures. It came with the gas masks that they used in Empire Strikes Back when they flew into that creature's mouth. And then they came with the little backpack that Luke carried Yoda around in. So you could put this on Luke's back and then stick Yoda in there. So that's what that is, called a survival pack. So I have that. Size Noodles and the Max Rebo band. This is a tough one because these break off really easily. So you got to be very careful with this one. This is FX7. It's a medical assistant droid.
That's what you are.
I am a medical assistant, so yes, that's what I do for my living.
That's what will happen to you.
This is my guy right here. His head pops up a little bit. You can see that pops up.
Oh my god!
Got a little grappling hook. This is one of the droids that was helping fix Luke after he was knocked off the after the Tauntaun. He was knocked off the Tauntaun by the Wampa creature and brought back to the hospital at Hoth. And this is one of the medical droids that was helping assist Luke get back to health when Luke was inside that tank. Back to tank. That's
this is
that.
cool.
Oh, this is Power Droid. Oh, they call him a gonk droid because they kind of made like a gonk noise when they walked around.
That's kind of cool how they did that.
So that's Power Droid.
There's the bag right there.
So it says cookies.
Very primitive looking.
I'm gonna find you the person, Dad.
Here's that.
I found Luke. Do you want to do a Luke or a Han?
Yeah, give me whatever you touch, man.
Just random stuff.
Well, I mean, geez.
That's not random.
The original. This is part of the original 12. Of course, Darth Vader. And this has got the telescoping lightsaber that came out of the arm. And what's nice about this one is it still has a little tip at the end. As you can see,
Oh, those are
the
hard to keep
lightsaber,
on.
yes. See, it slides out of his
Why
arm.
do they do it like that though? Like make it so small.
Primitive, dude. This is 1978.
No,
man.
but why do they do it like that? Why didn't they just make it like a big?
So this little tip right here, you can see that was very fragile and they would break off. But that one is nice and complete and on there. So that's, again, I'm
That's
going to
supposed
be
to be a
very
cape or
careful.
just a jacket?
That's supposed to be his cape. Again, vinyl cape. They keep
Vinyl makes it look better though for him.
you know.
If you want to do her.
Now that's probably my worst in terms of condition figure that I have. My 2 worst condition figures are Princess Leia figures. Go figure. This is the original Princess Leia figure. It's her white gown, but her gown is a vinyl gown and it's all just ripped up. I had to tape it back when I was a kid. She's really starting to discolor because I noticed the white plastic discolors over time.
This on the side.
Her paint's pretty good, but her cape is a mess. And but that's that's what it is, man. I still have it. So
You don't want to do the R2D2 one.
another Ewok has a name. Again, I do not remember the name of this Ewok. There's only a couple that I remember, and I do not remember the name. It wasn't just like generic Ewok person. It was something, a name, and I don't remember. I'd have to look it up. And here's the regular version of Snaggletooth. They call the red version.
You have the girl.
No, I have Wicket. That is not Wicket. Wicket is much smaller than this. Wicket will be coming up, but I don't remember the name of this one. It's definitely not Wicket. I will show you Wicket in a few. No, you're good, man. It's good, Andrew. No problem, man. No problem at all. Snaggletooth. This is the Snaggletooth that came carded. Now there was another version I was speaking of before, which was a taller figure, had a blue outfit on, and he had boots. He didn't have like the exposed feet. It came in the Sears exclusive Cantina set with the other 3 bar guys. Snaggletooth was the only different one out of those 4. Where the other 3 were the same carded or the same from that set. Snaggletooth was different. The blue Snaggletooth is very, highly collectible and highly sought after. Ah, dude! Oh my God! Thank you, man. You're my 350th. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Oh, this guy's cool. Is this the Hammerhead guy you're talking about?
That's Hammerhead. Now, another story of Jawas. Now, Jawas, when they first came out, I may have misspoke before when I said that they use vinyl on all the everything up to Return of the Jedi. This Jawa is an original figure from 1978. It does have a cloth robe, but the original Jawas came with a vinyl robe. And those are highly sought after as well. The vinyl cape Jawas are very expensive and sought after. I do not have one of those. But I actually like this one better because it looks more realistic to what they look like in the movie. So that's that.
Teaching the ways of the Jedi.
Teaching the ways of the Jedi.
That's what Aaron said.
Teaching the ways of the Sith. I think this might be my last of the Cantina. Let's call them the bar guys.
Oh, there's your friend.
Hammerhead. This is Hammerhead. Now,
It's a good one.
in the modern release of this figure, I believe the name, the creature's name in the movie is like Moma Nadon. That's like the name. But back then, they called him Hammerhead, and that's how I know him as Hammerhead. And he will always be Hammerhead to me. So, again, pretty cool looking guy right there. I mean, that's pretty snazzy for something that came out in 1978.
It kind of looks like an
You know?
ET-esque.
It's a little ET-esque. Very cool looking. Very cool looking.
This is the guy.
And there we go. There's Wicket.
He's so cute.
Here's Wicket,
He's like a
man.
little gremlin.
Andrew, here is Wicket, buddy. There is Wicket right there. That is Wicket. That was the first Ewok we saw in the movie when he came upon Princess Leia after she wrecked the speeder bike or whatever it was.
It's like
So
a
that is Wicket.
little gremlin.
Wicket W. Warwick. Or Warwick. Right
Cute.
there. So that is Wicket.
That looks pretty
A
good.
shout out to Aaron, to the old school gamer. Wicket.
That looks good for like. Well, it looks,
Man, these figures got a lot of mileage when I was a kid, man. These figures got a lot of mileage. Let's do this one. Again, when this came out, I thought it was very cool. You remember Wicket, right? He stole her crackers, or she gave him crackers. This one was, when this came out, this was like really cool too, because anything Stormtrooper was just badass. And that was a snow trooper, and he came with that huge gun. I was like, how does he hold it one-handed, man? That's impossible. You can't hold it one-handed. I think it's hysterical. They gave it 2 handles, and he can only hold it one-handed. But just too cool, right? That is awesome. Awesome sauce right there.
You want to do this?
Yeah, he's a cool one.
All right. I haven't found the lady yet. She's somewhere.
I have a little trivia. Here's a little trivia action coming up for you right here, right now. Again, very cool figure from Jabba's castle and Jabba's skiff, the old Gamorrean guard.
It looks like a pig.
This one, when this came out, this up to the time, this is a Return of the Jedi character. This is one of the most detailed figures up to that moment. Like, this was like really detailed, really
It looks
nice.
like a normal figure now. It looks
Yeah,
like
I mean, this just can hold up, And the thing that is interesting about this figure here is Kenner. Kenner was the manufacturer of these. Kenner also manufactured Remember the Kevin Costner Robin Hood movie that came out in like the late 80s, early 90s? Well, there was a line of figures they put out. You know, they had the Robin Hood, they had Will, you know, the Christian Slater character, and they had the Sheriff of Nottingham and all that good stuff. They made a Friar Tuck figure.
Who's that?
Friar Tuck is one of his friends. And the Friar Tuck, excuse me, I wipe my schnozola. The Friar Tuck, what they did is they actually used the body of this figure and they just put a different head on it. Because he was wearing a robe. And if you took the robe off, you could see that they used the body of the Gamorrean guard and just put a different head on it. So I always thought that was very interesting. Kenner is long. I'm not taking the call.
Is this like sewed on?
As long since gone out of business, and but they were a great toy company.
You want you Luke?
Yeah. Now this is a cool one.
Here you go. And then I just got the figures just to look at it because I was looking at it. And boom.
All right, so this was a cool one. This is one of the final 17. This is what I was talking about earlier. This is the Luke in the Jedi
That
robes.
was a badass one.
You know, that's when we saw Luke as a Jedi. You know, he was a Jedi at this point. He was wearing the black with the robes. You know, he really didn't carry a blaster anymore. He carried a lightsaber. And so this guy came with a lightsaber and a blaster.
That was one of my favorite lightsabers.
And this one came with a green lightsaber. But there was a variation of this one with a blue lightsaber, which is, again, rarer than the green one. So, all right, where's he going? All right. So
Where's he
that's a
going?
cool one. Very cool. Noah.
No.
That's a cool one. Cool one, cool one. Did you had this
One
one?
of his friends?
Jess, you had this one here? This Luke, the best, the Jedi robes get Luke. It's a very cool one.
Dad, did you already do this one?
I did not do that one. Nothing in the box I've done.
Oh,
Anything
no,
that's in the
because I
box.
think
though.
you have a double. See, you have him, but it doesn't have that little piece that pops up.
Yeah, no, that's a different figure. Everything's different.
Isn't that R2D2?
It is, but the original. This is the original one. This is the original. Yeah, I showed you the one with the sensor scope. This is the original R2 that came out in '78. Nothing comes up. Nothing pops up. Nothing. No lightsaber. The lightsaber version of this is one of the final 17. I do not own. It is an expensive figure. That's probably, again, those last 5 from that 17 that I need. They're at least about $100 a piece, loose.
He's still
Loose.
a lot left.
So,
You want to do this
Yeah.
guy? He's a big boy.
yeah. Oh, now this one. This one is a really good one. This one is. This is one of the final 17. Definitely. This one's an expensive one. This is called a Man-A-Man. A Man-A-Man. He was in Jabba's castle in the background. Again, shown for maybe like 2 seconds. Loose. This is at least $100 figure loose, maybe more, probably more now. That was like 15 or 20 years ago. This is the staff it came with. This staff alone, I've seen sold on eBay, goes for $50 to $75. Just the staff, because people lose that stuff. So this one here, this is a tough one. This is a rare one. I don't want to say it's rare. It's not rare. It's just highly sought after.
Cool.
Figure. And it's complete, which, you know, a lot of them became incomplete over time because kids play with them and they lost pieces. So this is definitely a highly collectible, sought after final 17 figure.
I'm just picking out guys that you can just pick.
Yeah, that's
So you can just go fast. Boom, boom, boom.
Yep. I think Luke wants me to wrap it up.
No. I'm also trying to find that one that they're looking for, the singer. I can't find her.
Oh, she may be. Oh, she's not in there with the other ones. Oh, she must be packed somewhere else.
Yeah, I
thought
don't
had
see her.
I do have Slice Noodles and Max Rebo, but they're not in. Luke tells me they're not in this box.
I was like,
So unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to show her tonight. But I have her on another Star Wars video. I'll be able to show her.
you can do it another one. Part 2.
This is
Hellbot.
No, this is the medical droid. This is like the doctor droid. The one with the arms is FX7. This is 21B medical droid. Again, very cool looking figure. Empire Strikes Back
Pretty good for back
era. Again, yeah, Luke said it's very good for back then. I agree. It was kind of cool because he had the clear center here. You could kind of see through them. Pretty detailed. Kind of always like that one. That's 21B medical droid. So pretty cool right there. Pretty cool stuff. All right, here's a good one. The original Han Solo. Oh, yeah. So there's a variation with the original Han Solo.
25 cents each.
So that's the Han Solo we all saw when we were
No one loves.
8 and 9 years old. And this is the one we were like, yeah, that is just too cool. Yes, in the back to tank. You are correct, Andrew. Absolutely. It was him and the
Holy
I don't know if you were here earlier when I showed off the other one. This one. They were like a team. This was the doctor, this was his assistant. So, yep, that's the one.
I wonder how if like the newer movies came out, like General Grievous. I wonder how he would look.
So,
Oh, cool.
there's two versions of this figure. There's we call the little head version, which I have, and there's one with a big head version.
Big one.
I always liked this one better. I remember my friend had the big head version. I always hated it because it didn't really look right. In terms of collectability, I think they're pretty equal. I think this one might be a little more favored over the big head version. So there is that. So I don't own any of the other versions of these. I just own the one. Yeah, I never went and looked back and tried to get all the parallels and short prints. What do you got next there for me? Another original. This was good because this is a tough one because, again, it's original. This is the original Obi-Wan Kenobi in the vinyl cape.
I'm just gonna move these.
And you can see it has the telescoping lightsaber.
That one gets a little stuck on the end.
And it's got the tip, which is good. So that's nice. It has a tip.
I'll show it without breaking it. There you go.
There are other versions of this too. Or the Luke. I believe the Luke had a version where.
I like how they make the coats look like a jacket,
Yeah.
like a cape.
Yep. The original Stormtrooper, right there. I always like this. The original Stormtroopers are like this. They look like
Is
stiff.
that the one who hit his head?
That's the Stormtrooper that hit his head in the movie.
That's funny.
They're very stiff looking. Very stiff. I'm a Stormtrooper.
They couldn't. Those were like the worst ones to see. What are scones, Mom?
Very dry.
I know, man. I have to dig her up. I know she get the
They're dry.
nice
The duck lips.
lips.
The duck lips.
It was pretty cool that they, when they released those in the modern figures, they did like the whole band. I have like a whole band worth of guys. Like they had these drummers and they
Oh, you had the two of
the
them.
backup singers and all that stuff.
I remember you had the set like that. You
Yeah.
And then I think you had like the pool guy, the guy who does the drinks with the big circle.
Yep.
And you have Darth Vader's mask that takes off the mask.
You never played Dark Forces, did you, Luke, from Star Wars, the game? No, I never played Dark Forces. I know what you're talking about. It's an old school one, right? And Metal Gear Solid 1 from the original PlayStation. That was a cool game. That was a cool game, man. I always liked that one.
Oh my god. Do they like the new Battlefront games? The Star Wars Battlefront?
Ask him.
Huh?
Ask him. You're on.
They have
This is one of Jabba the Hutt's torture droids.
That was so cool.
I don't remember the name of this one.
Torture droid.
This had a name. It had a droid name, and for the life of me, it slips my mind. But it's pretty cool looking, kind of scary, creepy looking.
The sad one.
Oh, the sad one. Why is it sad?
The tip.
Broke off?
I think it's not in here, so
May not have the tip.
the sad one. That's what I'm saying. The sad one.
Yeah, this one doesn't have the tip, I don't think. Yeah, this one is missing the tip. Now, my Luke Skywalker, my original Luke Skywalker,
That's why.
does not have the tip on his
You actually
lightsaber.
played with it.
You probably because you played it that more.
And you can see there, it doesn't have the tip like the other two did.
Did you play with that one more?
This one had a version with darker hair. It also had a highly sought after version where this telescoped even more. There's like another like a section that telescoped out.
That's cool.
So I liked Battlefront 1 and 2 original, the Rogue Squadron, Shadow of the Empire, Starfighter, Battle of Naboo, even Rogue Leader, and Rebel Strike. 8D8. Thank you. Thank you, Fluby.
What?
Yes,
Who's 8D8? Which one's
8D8.
that
That's this one. Yes, that one. Thank you.
I'm just handing you some. You just pick them.
Thank
It's like
you.
Christmas morning all over.
I used to
again.
know all this. I used to know this like it was there.
Like
And
baseball
some of,
cards.
yeah, like it's some of this stuff is like fading away in my head.
Candy stone.
Yo, butter that up for me.
You don't need one.
Yes, I do. Put
It's
butter on it.
lemon now.
Put butter on it.
Lemon. Butter and lemon.
She made me gluten-free scones. Isn't my wife wonderful?
Yes, yes. Be gluten free. That one.
Yeah, we've played Lego Star Wars.
Those are fun.
Yes, and Force Unleashed 1 and 2. Yes, yes,
Those
yes,
are like
yes.
the best Star Wars games.
Yes.
Force Unleashed are so much fun. They need to make a new one.
Here's another Jabba the Hutt guy from his court there. Again, they call this one Squid Face because, I mean, what does he look like? Again, has a name. Hi. Has a name, and when they re-released him in the modern era, but I know him as Squid Face, so we're gonna keep him as just Squid Face.
Here's some good stuff. There's some
Good stuff. Oh, let's try him here.
Tell me what you can't.
ASMR.
Delicious.
Anyways, I'm just picking. It's like Christmas morning.
Oh, dude, I totally thought you knew it. I'm like, yeah, dude, you don't tell anybody, man. You gotta keep that a secret.
What?
Say, oh, I knew it.
You what?
No, Fluby said he googled the name of one of the figures, and he's like, I googled it for you.
Should I try? Are they good, Mom?
Yeah,
This one is this is one of the final 17. It's called Imperial Dignitary. I believe there might be another one of these. Might be another. No, there's just original series only one. I think in the modern series there was two. But this is one of the guys that accompanied the emperor around. So called Imperial Dignitary. But one of the final 17, one of the tougher ones. Andrew, is that a game? I know my son had just showed me a thing at Disneyland, I guess out in California, that you can go and build your own lightsaber. It looks pretty
It's called
cool.
Sabi's Workshop.
Oh, okay.
It's expensive, but
Like $200.
No, it's made out of metal. It has metal on it. Oh, and then for $100 you can make a little droid like, and then it moves around.
They're gonna have it here in Florida.
Well, yeah.
One of the most boring figures ever. And I remember this one was on the shelf forever. Like you could probably get this. This is probably on a shelf, sitting on a shelf somewhere now. This is General Madine.
Who's
He
that?
was a rebel. He was just a rebel general in Return of the Jedi. This thing sat on the shelf forever and ever. This is probably worth 10 cents. I mean,
Who's that?
he was just he was one of the rebel leaders.
Does that make your point? Who's that?
Yeah, I mean,
It's like a random person.
it's where you can put lightsabers together. Is that a game? Is that a game where you can do that, Andrew? Like a video game, or is that somewhere you can actually go and do it
Blade builders.
and actually build one? Because I know that does exist.
You make there's blade builders that they do for like the stores, and there are lightsabers, and then they have connectors. You connect them and make them like kind of like these cool lightsabers, and then they have lightsaber plastic ones that you can build at the store parks, and then they have the metal ones.
This is the Imperial Commander, probably based on after he killed Admiral Ozzel, he put this guy into Vader put this guy into command, but they just called him Imperial Commander on the figures. But he is after Ozzel. It was not Veers. I don't remember the character's name, but it was after Vader choked out the guy who came out of light speed too quick, and then made this guy the new commander of the fleet. So, but back then it was just called Imperial Commander.
Ask them if they watch any Star Wars TV shows like Clone Wars or Rebels.
Do you guys watch? Andrew? Do you watch like Clone Wars or Rebels or anything like that? Is that empty or still got more to go?
There's more. I'm waiting for you to pick these.
Because I want to start putting some of these back. This is just the generic Hoth soldier.
That's Luke. It's not Luke.
That's not Luke. Luke similar, but that's just a generic soldier.
It made him look exactly like Luke Skywalker.
This is the Death Star droid. That was cool.
He got like a handful of.
I always said he was like the evil C-3PO.
Isn't there like a silver C-3PO, like a red C-3PO?
Yeah, there's all different ones.
There's different numbers, right? That's the cool one. Rest in peace, the actor. Is that the
Yeah, baby. Chewbacca. Chewbacca. And this is one of the newer versions of Chewbacca.
It's like
I don't know. That does not look like Chewbacca. The face, especially. I don't know. It's okay. I don't know.
this looks like the kid of Chewbacca.
Oh, he said no. They're plastic toy electronic lightsabers you put together. Those toy.
Is it the ones from Disney, or is he asking from the ones in store?
Probably in store, I'm assuming.
In store, then I know what those are.
Yeah. So we got Chewbacca, the
You can get,
original, one of the original 12, man. Chewbacca
You can get
with the ice blue eyes.
yeah, an example for the blade builders. You can get like Luke Skywalker's, and it comes with like an attachment, and then you can attach like different stuff to it.
This is a cool one. This is a very cool one. Andrew watches Clone Wars.
Tell him to watch Star Wars Rebels. It's good too.
This is Boushh, the bounty hunter. But really, it's Princess Leia in disguise. That was cool because you could put the helmet on and take the helmet off.
Who's that? What?
That
I
was
didn't
when
know.
she dressed up to infiltrate Jabba's castle and break Han out of the carbonite. So very cool.
What is it? Tell him to watch Star Wars
Very
Rebels.
cool.
It takes place during this time, like during the.
In between,
It's right before Luke Skywalker becomes like before he meets Obi-Wan. It's like
Okay.
before he becomes
like during Rogue One time, like right around.
there, because in one of the episodes, Darth Maul tries to hurt Obi-Wan.
Bingo.
What?
That she did. She went beep 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 beep. Did
Did you have Jabba the Hutt, or was like one of the final?
I have Jabba the Hutt.
Oh, that's in the other batch.
That's probably where my Max Rebo band is with Jabba the Hutt because I have the Jabba the Hutt playset with the little Salacious Crumb.
Did you hear the original? The guy in the Jabba the Hutt? No, and the original guy had to wear like a gas mask in the costume because the thing what the costume was made out of was like toxic, so he had to wear a gas mask in the middle, like the puppet one. Pizza the Hut.
I think this might be Lumot. I said it earlier that the other one was Lumot, but like I said, I don't remember the exact names of all these Ewoks.
Pizza the Hut.
But here's another one of these just generic Ewoks. But they did give it a name.
Pizza the Hut.
I don't remember.
Pizza the Hut.
Pizza the Hut. Here's another one.
There's a butt on.
This I think might be Chief Chirpa. The two original Ewoks that came out were Chief Chirpa and Logray, the Ewok medicine man. So I think this is Chief Chirpa. I know that's Chief Chirpa. So I know Chief Chirpa. I know Logray. I know Wicket. I think the one I just showed was Lumot. A couple of these Ewoks are from the Final 17. This is another one. I do not know the name. I do not know the name. But there is about 6 different Ewoks they released. This is Neenum. Neenum.
Looks kind of like a monkey-ish.
He talked like that.
Wasn't he Lando's?
This is Lando's co-pilot. He was a rebel pilot, and he was Lando's co-pilot in the attack over Endor when they were battling the Star Destroyers over Endor.
He was in the Millennium Falcon.
He was helping fly the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, tell them to watch Star Wars. Good show.
let me show this one. This one's got a little story to it. A little story. So when this first came out, this was an original 12. This one, Kenner named it the Death Squad Commander. But I guess over time, parents didn't like it because it was called the Death Squad Commander. And then they changed it to Star Destroyer Commander. It's, to me, always the Death Squad Commander. That's how I knew it, and that's what it will be forever
I don't like the name.
and ever and ever.
Is that-
I am a Death Squad Commander.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
That's dumb. Because this is
Even back then, there was some PC stuff that was just too much, but whatever.
That's it. You want to do?
You can start putting them back in. I'm going to hand them back to you. Put them back in.
Okay.
All right, guys. Here's the end.
The final stretch.
This is...
Does it matter how they go in, or they just go?
Nah, they just go in. I don't. Again, this might be low gray. That might be the Ewok Medicine Man. I think that is. See, again, I have to do my research again and go back and look at some of these characters and get the names back because I don't remember that one. But there's another Ewok.
Show them that Star Wars book that we have. Dad.
This is the original C-3PO. That was one of the original 12 that came out in 78, 77, 78. Then we've got that is the AT-AT Commander. Actually, I think I had misspoken earlier and said the AT-AT Commander was a different figure. This is actually the AT-AT Commander. This is Veers. And the other guy I showed you was the Chicken Walker pilot guy, the guys who drove the little walkers, the ATSTs,
That's
the Scout Walker.
Don't you? Isn't that the big thing?
I have the AT-AT in there.
You
So
gotta
this
show
is
them.
this is the AT-AT Commander. This is General Veers. Yes, that was Dr. Evazin. Dr. Evazin in the cantina with Walrus Man when they were threatening
Does this
Luke.
go in a bag, or is this just stay in this?
That stays just like that. Actually, leave this for last. Don't put that.
Gotta look at.
Yeah, but because he's in a newer bag and I want to keep him on top.
Okay.
Anything in those bags, just leave on top. all right?
What did this go in? I don't know what this came in.
Oh boy, Luke, I'm gonna kick your ass.
The bag was open.
All right, hold up.
Does it matter right now?
It does matter. Just give me a second. Just
I
stop.
don't see a gun. Oh, I do.
Stop. Just leave it go. Don't put anything else back right now.
I can do these, right?
Just wait. Klaatu. Klaatu was one of Jabba's henchmen, and it was interesting because they did two versions of this figure, not variations, but two actual separate versions. They did this version, and then they did a Klaatu in a Skiff Guard outfit. The only one of Jabba's henchmen they gave two outfits to. So, whatever. Kind of interesting, but yeah, just the regular figures. Here's the Tusken Raider, or we know them as the Sand People. Those are always look awesome. Very cool looking characters. Very cool looking characters. And this is another Skiff Guard. His name is Barada. He was on Jabba's skiff in the barge. Barada.
Oh,
He's a final 17. I don't know about it yet,
It looks.
but
so
it
good.
looks. My son said it looks
The
good.
guy who
He
plays the
told
Joker in,
he told me a
Gotham.
little bit about it.
The guy plays the Joker in the new Gotham series.
Oh yeah, that's what you're
He
telling
plays
me.
him.
Yeah.
And then the guy in
And this
Rogue
is the
One
other.
in it.
This is the black version of the Bespin Security Force. Right there.
Mom.
This is the twin pod cloud car pilot. Thought they
How
were
many
kinda
like
cool
ships did they
looking.
make when they were back then? Did they make a lot of
They made
ships?
a ton of ships. R5D4. That's the droid. That's his, originally Uncle Owen bought this droid, and then he popped a sensor or something, and then they got R2 in its place. So Uncle Owen originally bought C-3PO and R5D4, but he went on the fritz. And
Thank
last
God
but
he
not
did.
least, one of the final 17 figures, one of my all-time favorites,
Kind of looks like
This is the Imperial Gunner figure, which I think is just fantastic looking.
Kind of looks like a
There's
Sith.
that one. I think they're just so cool looking. But he's a final 17, so he's a tough one. A little more premium on this guy. This is cool. Should have been fluffy.
You can tell he looks Star Wars.
Sabulba.
You can tell he likes
Another
Star Wars.
Another Star Wars man right there. But that is it. That is my vintage Star Wars collection of just figures. I've been on here an hour and a half. I appreciate everybody coming on
There'll be a part
and
two.
talking back and forth, and giving me some information that I was so sorely needing at the time to save my video. Andrew, I appreciate your sub. You're number 350, man. That's awesome. I really do appreciate that. Thank you for coming in and hanging out. I will be doing another one of these because I do got a lot of Star Wars stuff to show. So every now and then I will pop on here with a Star Wars video. Because I got to do some more card videos. I haven't done card videos in a while. So that is it, guys. I'm going to take off tonight.
Help me with that.
I really appreciate you guys coming on with me. Have a great week, everybody. I'm out, and may the cardboard God shine down upon you all. Peace.
Like, are you gonna post it?